Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. I'm Olakunle Kasumo. Autism or autism spectrum disorder refers to a broad range of conditions characterized by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech and nonverbal communication, and so on. It is an extremely difficult experience for children who suffer autism and their parents. In her book titled Defeating Autism, Ugonna Sylvester-Ogan shares her experience of having three children with autism and how she handled the tough situation. Ugonna's book is moving and insightful. She joined us to discuss it and her motherhood experience. Ugo, thanks for coming on Channel's Book Club. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, Kunle.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
You've written a book titled Defeating Autism. Let me first say that thank God for our politicians. Thank God for our sportsmen who hog all the spotlight. But I think people like you, are the real heroes of our world. You had three boys.
Yes.
Who experienced some levels of autism.
Yes.
That must have been tough. Well, your book, reading your book, gave me an insight into how difficult, that experience is.
Yeah.
So this book, Defeating Autism, is your story, your experience as a mother, having to raise boys like that. So, of course, the experience inspired you to write this book. So I'm not going to ask you what inspired this book.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but let's talk about autism first.
Okay.
There might be somebody out there who is not very familiar with what autism is about, so that we can use that as a context for our review of your book. Autism. What's autism?
Okay. From my own concept, I would say that autism is a condition, that's present in childhood, in the early childhood, and is characterized by, difficulty in communicating and expressing oneself, and also using language and abstract concepts in the child. And it's always creating difficulty for them to even form, relationship, with people around them.
So once a child, has autism, of course, autism then leads to a lot of other complex problems, really, like you just stated now.
Yes.
Relational issues.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a basic not being able to communicate. We can be very frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could just hear like maybe one word, maybe in a week, and then the child is not expressing himself, so you can't even communicate.
So at what point did you notice your first son had autism?
Okay. Well, from my book, you will just know that I wasn't really conversant with autism.
You're not familiar with autism.
Autism,
as
yes.
At the time you became a mother.
Yes, yes. So when I found out, but I just knew that there was a problem. Like when you see him with other kids, he's not expressing himself, the way he's supposed to express. But at that time, I just knew, deep inside me, I knew there's something wrong.
You observed he was not very expressive. He couldn't communicate.
Yes, he wasn't. He couldn't communicate, and a lot of tantrums. Like you wouldn't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, because of that frustration.
Yes, and then when he goes to school, there's always like, you can't just go and pick your child. Normally bring him back home. There's always one complaint. From one complaint to another. He did this. He did that. He was hyperactive. He wasn't stable in class. He was outside playing while the studies were going on, and you just wonder, what is, happening to your child? So at that time, it just dawned on me that, even if, like, the teachers around, they don't know what autism was all about, so they just studied it.
Yeah,
so they just thought,
just a character flaw.
Yeah.
And that led to all sorts of issues. They kept reporting him to you.
And he wouldn't say anything. A child can't come back from school and say, oh, auntie said this, maybe at the age of 5. And you're just like, you're calculating, doing all the expression for him, When you go to the school, you have to like ask, is there any homework around? What happened in class, Just asking around, being around your child.
I had a bit of an insight into your own experience as a mother,
Okay.
you know, being in that kind of situation. But tell me a bit more about that. That was difficult.
Yeah, it was really very
And it's
difficult.
difficult for any mother like that, any mother in that position, right?
Yes, it's very, very difficult because, I mean, you can't imagine when your child is in a class, maybe they are 17, and they're just complaining about your child. Every time it's just about your child, they are complaining, you know, saying he did this, you know, some odd things that you just wonder. And I said, I mean, what is wrong with my child? And, you know, I mean, the thing about autism is that, I mean, you can't see that child outside and you say something is wrong with that child. The face is normal, the face is handsome, and those are all the activities that the person can do, but it's just that there is something else. It can't stay stable, hyperactive, tantrums, not able to express. And when you're trying to get it, and once they see that you're trying to like get them to say something, and that's a difficult task for them.
The spark.
Yeah, they spark. And then you're just wondering, how am I going to teach this child? How is he going to understand? Because basically, when he brings his academic works and stuff, I mean, it's always like maybe coming last, you know, like maybe last position or second to the last, you know, and it wasn't something that's...
And it's terrible that the schools don't even, the educational system in Nigeria does not accommodate, there's no understanding, there's no knowledge.
Yes,
you
at
know.
that time.
Yeah, at that time.
That was at that 2003.
Okay, it's a lot better now.
Yeah, so for now, I think it's a lot better now. But my own concern is when there is so much knowledge, you tend to like leave everything for the knowledge. And then you forget that when God gives you a child, I think there's kind of an authority he has given to you as a mother or as a father.
To take responsibility.
Yes.
I'm going to come back to that. I'm coming there. But
Okay,
I'm just trying to get a picture how difficult. You couldn't take a job.
No, I couldn't. I was just doing something simple.
Yeah, you couldn't take a job.
I couldn't.
Because you had to focus on, you wanted to focus on getting him well.
Yes.
How difficult was that?
Okay, are you talking about my first
Yeah,
child?
well, not being able to get a normal job.
Yes, not being,
you know.
well, it wasn't easy. You know, it's just something that you have to, I think my main focus was because I was always focusing on God. And, you know, there's something about when you focus everything in the hands of God. I think you just be kind of content, you know, you have that kind of content, right? For whatever you have around you, you make use of it. But you are after, you know, the human investment. Like this, a human is from God. So, I mean, there's nobody that can take that responsibility but for you.
For you.
Yes. And
okay, now your second son then began to exhibit the same symptom.
yes. But, yeah, but for my second son, it was kind of milder, you know, than him. And than your first child, yeah. But the only thing is that because basically the other one is 2 years older than him, they were not just expressing themselves.
Both of them?
Yes, they were not.
By age what?
From the age of 1 to 8, that was when my first child started expressing himself gradually. And then my second son was 6. That was when he started expressing himself.
So before then, they were not expressing themselves,
you know,
at all?
They were not. They would just do the things they want to do. You know, but I knew they were always drawing, doing a lot of coloring. You know, but then, you know, I had to, you know, try and get some things doing for them. Like my husband will help me maybe with the homeworks. And when he puts in the homework, you know, trying to, you know, repeat the questions we have had from previous things. So trying to express it for them. So that when they just go, it's just like you're trying to tell them, you see this? When you see this, this is what you're going to shade. You know, like, yeah. So, but it wasn't easy. But we're just like playing around, but knowing that I think if my child is normal, that's what I was always saying. I said, if this child's face is normal, then there's nothing wrong with him. I think there's something that needs to bring him out, you know, from that.
And then you had your third son.
Yes.
And his own was difficult. His own
in fact,
was
when I had my third son, I was like, praise God. I mean, I said, oh, this child doesn't have any problem. At 2 years, I mean, he would listen to whatever educational CD that you put for him, and he was really very, very intelligent at that time. And when I put him in a school, I think they gave him a promotion and said he won't be in the 2-year class, he will be in the 3-year class because he has already known So, but suddenly at that 3+, he just started manifesting, you know, like throwing tantrums. You can't hear him express himself in any way. You know, very hyper, his own. I mean, if he wants to say something and he's not ready to be patient, he could just hit his head just to get your attention. And you won't hear anything from him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So so you wrote here that his own case was actually the worst of the three.
Yes,
It was
yes.
a very difficult case.
It was very difficult.
And the teachers wanted him out of the school.
Yes.
Was it the one? Or
So
the first one?
yes. It was the
third?
third one.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing that helped me.
And there was there was a day even that they put him in a bus
Yes. That was when
and asked the bus to go and deliver him at home.
Yes.
Yeah, you wrote that here.
Yes, yeah. They delivered him at home, yes.
But and the other two boys were in school.
Yeah, they were in school.
They had improved by then.
Oh, they have improved. And you know, then for my first two boys, it was when I was in the East, which you don't remember. When I came to Lagos, that was when gradually I started knowing about autism. So I now saw the professional. I said, oh, she knows about it. So I was like, thank God that she knows about it. So, I mean, it made me more biased that, oh, okay, the people that know about it, she couldn't do anything for my child. So that was when I had to, like, get stronger faith that, oh, if I could do it for the first two, I think I can just mellow down. Even if I'm in Lagos City where, there's a lot of demand financially.
Financially, yes.
So I just had to, like...
And your husband was not around, you wrote?
Yes, for my
He was overseas for master's or PhD or something?
Yes, for his master's.
So you were alone with the boys?
Especially with the third one.
The third one?
Yes.
I know that. Now, one thing central to your book is your faith. You were praying, you were fasting, you were quoting scriptures and trusting God for their healing. And you describe that as your chief strategy, as your main focus.
Yes.
You tied the healing, if we may use that expression, of your boys to that. You know, and for me as a reader, you kept saying to me that no problem is too big to be solved by God.
Yes.
That's your main strategy.
Yes, of course.
Tell me a bit about that.
Okay. You know, for my faith's been, you know, for my children to get healed, because I was focusing on God, because I just know that, I mean, even if I go to anybody, I mean, they will treat. You know, treatment is like you will be managing it. But with God, you know, you get healing that you just forget that, you know, there was anything, you know, happening to you. So first of all, you know, having faith is, like at the time I wasn't, you do it with gratitude. Because when you have such a child, there tends to be kind of a tendency that you will always be looking at depressed.
Yeah.
You know,
Negative.
you yourself will even need the therapy for yourself.
Yes. It's that
but
difficult.
I mean, that I found that once I go to God and He tells me things and tells me there's nothing is with time, I didn't know that actually, I mean, it was also working on my character. You know, it made me to be more patient. It made me to be
stronger.
To be stronger, to be grateful. So at the time, I wasn't focusing on the problem. I was focusing on what is working. So sometimes I say, oh, if God made them to walk, I didn't know when they started walking. I didn't know when they started crawling. That means there's a timing for it.
They are all fine now.
Oh, they are all, absolutely. They've overgrown it.
That's a miracle.
They've outgrown it. Nothing is wrong.
The three of them now.
Yes, yeah.
And you have got a lovely picture of you and them. So they're at the back here. Okay. Now, okay, let me play the other guy's advocate. If you get what I mean. Now, reading this, one could think that, hey, she's saying that the only way to deal with this problem, you know, is by prayer, which is what you emphasized a lot in your book, you know. But I could see from here that you did a lot of practical things. One, you didn't get a job. You spent time with them. Your last boy who could draw, amazing drawing skills, you know, and all that. You devised this strategy of dancing with him while he was drawing. Yes. You know, right? Is that correct?
Yes, I did that.
You know, so some people think I don't read these books.
I'm surprised too.
I do have to.
Okay.
How do I talk to you without reading it?
Okay.
Okay, so I mean,
Okay.
I mean, you danced with your boy.
Yes.
You know, you did a lot of things, practical things that I saw in here.
Yes.
You know, so I said to myself, okay, she's saying pray, but she wasn't just praying. She was praying and doing practical things
Yeah.
to help the boys.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, of course, yeah. So that's what I was doing. You know, while I was doing some certain things, especially I spent so much energy on my last kid, you know, because I mean, for him, I had to get, I wasn't like always thinking about the mental condition was in his mind. I was trying to get a heart connection, you know, and the heart connection, once you get a heart connection, it's automatically, you know, transforms, you know, that child. And by the time, you know, I mean, prayers and I just, in fact, I didn't just know when he just started expressing himself. I can't, even up till now, like when we are discussing, or he's talking about politics and, you know, what is happening, I just be like, wow.
You remember those days back?
No, like now,
just cast your mind back.
you know, he's 13 now. So when he's discussing with me or things, you know, he's doing what he wants to do, you know, sometimes when I remember, I said, I just don't know how, you know,
But
that
how
happened.
come you didn't know about autism in 2010? You had your first son in 2002.
2000.
2000. So you didn't know about autism until 2010.
Yes.
You had your boys by then.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, why? I was wondering, how come you didn't know anything about autism then?
You know, I was, where I was living in the East, that was in Aba. You know, that was where I raised my first two kids. You know, like the school they went to, virtually there was no awareness about that. Even the most popular schools, there was nothing, you know, talking about autism.
Didn't you seek medical help?
Because, I mean, even when I go to doctor, they will say, there's nothing, you know, wrong with them. Because, I mean, maybe they'll just say, oh, man, with time they will talk. Okay. That's just what. But, I mean, when I started, it was when I came into Lagos. I mean, Lagos is a way far ahead of the East. They are more, you know, their awareness
medically
is,
and in terms of awareness.
Yeah, the awareness is on the high rates. That
was
when
I met.
That you... Yes, so when I met that professional that had a school, and she started talking, and I started reading about it, I was like, oh wow, exactly all the symptoms. You know, that's what I was.
How critical was that for you? I mean, the knowledge, the information, getting to know about what autism. How critical was that for you in helping your boys?
Well, I can say it's just that when I read about it, the critical thing about it was when I got to see the positive side of the character of the child as the person is growing up, that they tend to be more focused, they pay attention to details, they are very intelligent. You know, I saw the negative, but I just focused on the positive. So whatever I was doing, you know, that was just what helped me to say, oh, I think, you know, this child, that's what I'm going to use and put through for him. Even when the lady failed me on thinking that, you know, I mean, she could be of help, you know, for me, because then I was ready to like, let me get a job, do the things I want to do. But when I saw it, I said, no, I can't just leave my child. I mean, if I have, you know, done it for my first two kids, then why not him? But his own was very difficult. But I had to like try and read some books, you know, get in. But in this kind of thing, I think it's not all knowledge that will work for your child. Different ones can work for different individuals. So that was why I put in this book to, you know, to encourage parents that, I mean, you need to be down for your kids, even if they are in a center that is helping them out. Make sure that you're on the same level. You are knowing whether it's right for your child. Is this one okay for my child? Because just like as children, they have different talents and potentials. One treatment can be all right for everybody. So that's what I found out. So even when that lady told me that, oh, okay, I need to give him a medication, I said no. No, because I mean, if I give him medication, that means his brain is going to, you know, is going to be dull. All you want him to do is just to be sitting quiet in the class. I said, no, I'd rather see him move around, do all the activities he wants to do, you know, with all his energy and, you know, wear it out and sleep than, trying to keep him calm, and he will not learn. All what that medicine is going to do is just to keep him calm, and at the end of the day, as the person grows, the person won't be able to learn again.
I gave this to a medical doctor to read.
Okay.
Somebody who is into mental health,
Okay.
and he was supposed to be here with us.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
he couldn't make
it. I think that would have added a lot of, different angles to it. But it's been great having this chat with you, Ugo.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for writing this.
Okay.
And thanks for being a hero. Yeah, people like you are heroes.
To God be the glory.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
And congrats on the breakthrough you had with your boys.
Okay, thank you.